John, so good to connect with you again today. I know last time we talked about kind of the why cloud, some early thoughts that you've seen your customers have as they start to explore on-prem to cloud. But we were really just getting into a conversation about how much this can impact people, right? And how critical that is. I thought maybe what we could talk about is, I'll pick up on the people side, because often I think we hear about it as in the form of a blocker often for the migration. So maybe we'll just jump right into it, and I'll just start with, how do you frame, I think sometimes cloud is perceived as a threat to jobs. What have you actually seen from a jobs perspective in the customers in which you've helped them move to the cloud?
Yeah, there definitely is. There definitely can be pushback for job security, because you do have people that are there maintaining servers, maintaining the backups, maintaining security of a room and all that surrounds that. And to give that up, they feel like is one, they also have a vested interest in it, and they feel like they've been keeping it secure. Now you're going to give it to somebody else. How do we know they're going to be as secure as I am in maintaining this? And then also it's their jobs, it's their livelihood that's changing. Now, most times though, in most organizations, when things like this happen, like we move to the cloud and there's one less server in the server room, there's still a server room. They're still probably maintaining stuff. So the job is not going away. There's just one less thing to maintain. And if the job does go away, the people are most generally redeployed in another location to maintain something else. So
yeah, and I think too, even as you think about those who are in the IT department, maybe have done a certain job in order to support the on-prem environment for years, right? And that skill set now looks different, or the way in which to do something just looks different when you move to the cloud, right? So,
they're maintaining it. They're maintaining those servers in an Azure environment in the cloud, as opposed to maintaining them locally on premise. They're still maintaining those servers. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. This is the whole point, right? But it's like, how do we think about reskilling or upskilling as the technology changes, right? And I think we all now live in a world where it's continuous growth, it's continuous learning. And this is just one of those examples where technology is moving so fast that there's a level of upskilling and reskilling required. But also when we look at the future generations coming in, coming into the workforce, they will know cloud. They won't know on-prem, right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so even from like the supply of talent is going to have those cloud skills in the future, and not the skills that maybe you needed historically. I think it's a very natural ebb and flow to happen within an organization,
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100% agree. Yeah, those new students coming in are expecting to maintain the stuff remotely. They're not expecting to go in and be physically touching a server in a rack.
Yeah. So that's one blocker, one hesitation, right? And often blockers come down to resources, which is kind of people, time, and money. So I think we've talked about people. When you think about the financial, I mean, of course, I'm sure that the cost of a project and making that switch probably comes up quite quickly and quite frequently. How do you walk your customers through, maybe a short-term investment for long-term gains, or the different ways to look at the cost of it?
Right. Yeah, there's the cost of doing the project of migrating somebody to the cloud really boils down to the cost of migrating their data from the data that's sitting on the on-premise version to the cloud version. And what often happens is a customer will say, well, while I'm migrating to the cloud, oh, just wait, while we're migrating, why don't we add this little enhancement? Why don't we add this little enhancement? Because I don't want just one for one, because then I don't feel like I'm gaining any value if we move to the cloud. And they forget that moving to the cloud in itself is value. And as soon as they add the enhancements, that's when it becomes trickier to migrate their data. But if they were just to do the simple migration of an on-premise system and keep it one for one with what they have on board, they can keep their costs to a minimum. So I always try to recommend to a client not to pursue enhancements that treat them as a separate project. My recommendation is do the migration project and tick that box and do a one for one, and then do your enhancement project after.
Right.
Because mushing the two together, you do throw the cost of the project out. But
so this is sounding very familiar to me, because a number of years ago, before I came to Microsoft, we were doing a migration of Dynamics, actually, and I was in operations at the time, and I was the one who, was rhyming off all the enhancements that we could do, or thinking about, hey, if we're going to change, our infrastructure, is this the opportunity for us to change our process?
Right.
And then timeline goes pretty haywire pretty quickly. So have you ever observed me and some of your customers and trying to push out that time, try to throw the timeline off a little?
Absolutely. And of course, I'm part of a system integrator, so we make money when the project takes longer, but I've been doing it enough that I know there'll be another project. I've been doing this long enough, there'll be another project. It's not about the money, and to see your success, to really want you to succeed, my recommendation is, again, make the mini project. Make a mini project of just doing the migration and ticking that box. No one's saying you can't do the enhancements while you're there, but let's do the migration project first and tick that box. I mean, to do a simple migration project, let's just throw it down to a simple 3-day project. Would be simple enough to migrate somebody to the cloud and not have to focus on the enhancements later on. Yeah.
Well, you almost had me convinced, but I think I think some of my old ways are percolating in the back of my head. But I think kind of what we're getting into now is what makes a migration really successful, right? And valuable, and have impact on others, and all the reasons that you change to the cloud actually coming to life, right? And while I would love to get into that right now and have some healthy debate around that, unfortunately, I think we've both got plenty to do today. So maybe we can pick it up next time and continue learning from each other and sharing our observations about migrating.
It was great talking with you again, Cassaundra.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, Ron.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye. Bye.